Hey guys, welcome. So first of all, let me tell you, this video is going to be in Hindi and English. So if you are comfortable in English, then stay here. If you are comfortable in Hindi, then go and check out the Hindi version of this video. This video is specially designed for non-CSE IT student and the CSE IT student who are not familiar with the OOPS concept. Because today I'm going to tell you exactly what exactly OOPS concept is and how to answer this in an interview. So guys, tighten your seatbelt because we are gonna go for a ride of roadmap of OOPS concept. And trust me, by the end of this video, you will never forget this concept. And because I'm gonna, walk you through some real-time example. So let's get started. Now let's jump into this video. So in OOPS concept, our agenda is to cover these four important heart and soul of the OOPS concept, that is encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance and abstraction. Apart from these four, there are many. So these are what I'm saying, like many things in the OOPS concept. Most of you might be not familiar with in the OOPS concept. Whenever you will be seeing some video, you'll be going through the website, they will be only talking about the encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, abstraction, because these are the four main pillars of the OOPS concept. But this is not the only pillar of the OOPS concept. Main pillar, not the only pillar. Okay, so there are so many things in the OOPS concept which we may not take into this video, because if I start talking about that's gonna take too much time. So if you want to know about the other part of the OOPS concept, we'll make a separate video and just do let me know in the comment section. Now before starting this video, okay, let's have some definition. I'm not going to talk about much definition and theoretical. We will talk about the practical example. But just before jumping into that, let's first read and understand what is called OOPS. So OOPS is object-oriented programming, is a paradigm or methodology to implement real-world entities by design a program using classes and objects. Okay, so those who are not familiar with what is called classes and what is called object, don't worry guys, because in the next slide, first thing we'll cover what is in class and an object. Because until or unless you will not understand what is a class and what is the difference between a class and an object, which is, the favorite question of an interviewer, the difference between class and an object. So we'll understand that first. Okay. Now read out the second definition. OOPS, object-oriented programming system. So whenever you're saying OOPS concept, it is not only object-oriented programming concept, it is object-oriented programming system. Provides a paradigm to simplify the development and maintenance of a software. So here are some OOPS concept: object, class, and those four pillars. So why have I added object and class? Because the object and class, knowing about these two factors is most important to cover other four pillars. It's just like it's that land where we are going to make the building. So it's the object and class is nothing but that logical and physical existence of that, the material. And with the help of that, we are going to do polymorphism, inheritance, abstraction, encapsulation. So we'll understand that slowly in the next slide. Okay, I'll not talk much theoretical. Just in this slide, I'm going to talk, some of the theoretical concept, which is important. Now, these are the basic concept of OOPS, which I will not be covering in this video. But if you want me to cover this, then I will definitely going to make another video on the other part of the OOPS concept. That is coupling, cohesion, association, aggregation, composition, generalization, specialization, and realization. But today we'll not cover that. Today we'll cover the important pillar of OOPS concept. Now the next thing, that's what we are going to cover. Only these four important factors. Let's take an example. As I've told you, I'm going to talk only practical example so that you can correlate with that and you can imagine. Now here please, I just want you to imagine whatever I'm saying to you. Now think about a car. Whenever you are seeing, any car on the road, what you see is, hey, it's just a car. So car is a real world, it's an entity. Okay, car is an entity. Just take it as an entity. What is the definition of entity? Entity is nothing but, anything in the world which exists in real time. It's just called an entity in this world. Okay, so car is an entity, but whenever we are seeing any car on the road, is this just a car without any brand? No. Either the car will be BMW, Audi, Tata, Mahindra. Okay, there is some brand, and every brand is associated with some feature and basic functionality. So whenever you are seeing something on the road, logically it is a car, but physically it is a Tata car, it's an Audi car, it's an BMW, it's a Mahindra, it's a Jaguar. I'll take one more example. If you are going to a mobile shop, and how you'll purchase a mobile? Are you going to say, hey, I just need a mobile? Mobile is a logical thinking. It's a logical existence. It's not physically exist. So the shopkeeper is going to ask you, what mobile? Now again you will say, hey, I just need a mobile. So he will get confused what exactly you want, because mobile is a logical entity. It does not exist. Just like that, the car is a logical entity. It does not exist. What exists? The brand, the Tata, Audi, BMW, Mahindra. Just like that, in the mobile, what you're going to say, the next answer, hey, I want an Apple. I want Samsung. I want Realme, Redmi. I want these kind of brand. I want a mobile of Realme. I want a mobile of Apple. So that's how you purchase, right? So what is the physical existence? What is the physical entity? Physical entity is Apple. Physical entity is BMW. Physical entity is Mahindra. Physical entity is Audi. But the car, the mobile, these are logical entity. So when I say logical entity, whenever I'm saying it every time, that logical entity is called class. Class is a group of similar kind of a product, similar kind of a, anything, any brand or similar kind of a things associated with a single class. So car is a class, mobile is a class. Now, if I take another example, dog. Dog is a class, human being is a class. So these are the class. These are the logical entity. Basically, it does not exist. What exists? The brand associated with the car, the breed associated with the dog, and the brand associated with any mobile. So these are called the logical entity. Now, hope this is clear. Now let's move to the definition of an object. So what is an object? Object is any real world entity which has some characteristic or which can perform some task. So when I say Audi, when I say mobile, when I say something else, so what is that? These are the object. Apple, Samsung, Audi, Mahindra, Jaguar, these are object. But car, mobile, dog, these are called class. These are logical. Logical entity is always a class. Whenever somebody is asking you, the main difference is the class is a logical entity. It's a blueprint of the object. It's not exactly a physical entity. It's a logical entity. So this is a definition of an object. Now here, the car is in class, CAR, line number 1. CAR1 is an object. The car1 and car2 is an object of the car. The car1 and car2 can be. It's a BMW or Mahindra or any brand. It's associated with a car. So the physical entity in the world is called the object. The logical entity in the world is called the class. Now read out the definition of a class. So now let's jump into the definition. Simple definition. I've already told you what is a class. I know I've already explained you with object. Now just read out the definition. A class is a plan which describes the object. Yeah. car is a class, mobile is a class, dog is a class. We call it a blueprint of how the object should be represented. And it consists of name, attribute, and operations. So whenever we are creating this blueprint, we are going to talk about the name, okay, the class name, the attribute, and what operation it performs. So the attribute of the class, can I say model number? Means what is the model of that car? What is the chassis number? What is the engine number? What is VIN? And some more feature, whatever the attribute we can add in a car, we can have that, right? And what is the operation of a car? Operation of a car is, you can say driving, it stops, we can lock the car. These are the operation. Okay, this if this looks tough, I'll take another example. For a mobile, what is the operation of a mobile? Dialing a number or messaging somebody, these are the operation. But what are the different attribute? Attribute can be the model of the mobile, or the IMEI number, or anything, the processor. What is the processor? These are the attribute of the mobile, which is, I can say, if you are saving, if you are maintaining a database of a mobile, what are the things you are going to save? The model number, the IMEI number, the processor, the other thing which is associated, which is an attribute of a mobile. So this is what difference between attribute and operation. Operation is what we perform with the help of that class, with the help of car. What is the operation of a car? Driving, stop, lock. What is the operation of mobile? Just dialing a number, messaging somebody. It's an operation of a car is a class. Okay. Can I say model, chassis number, VIN, engine? These are the attribute. That's how we define attribute in any class. Or driving, lock, stop. Can I say this is an operation of a class? This method is called an operation of the class. Okay, so this is how we write a code to create any class. A class is a car which has some attribute and which has some operation. Any operation will be defined by a method, because operation has some functionality. Functionality means driving is associated with some of the implementation. Whenever you just put your key and you start it, the car, it gets started, right? We don't know the implementation behind it, how it getting started. Whenever you click on a button, the cars it get locked. Whenever you whenever you apply brake, it gets stopped. So these are called the operation. We don't know how it got implemented, how it's functioning. We don't know, and we don't care about this functionality. I'll tell you why we do not care it and what exactly it's called. So this is just, I wanted to show you, this is how a car class looks like with the attribute and the operations. So whenever somebody is talking about the operations, this is how the method, this way you are going to define an operation, and the attribute will be will be looking like something like that. So the public, private, public, these are nothing but, we'll talk about that. If you are a beginner, then we'll talk about that. Don't worry.